The Voice, our weekly feature where we're joined in the studio by the voice of boxing, Adam Smith, to take a look at the week's biggest stories. Samantha, good to see you.
Hi, how are you?
You've not met Jason before, right?
I haven't.
Which I find bizarre.
It's strange, isn't it? First time, yeah.
Now you've seen him because you said to me a couple of weeks ago, is his face as big as you say? Now you're face to face with him.
Tell me about that.
Come on. That's really winding
No,
up.
I believe Andrew.
Andrew. I don't think you've called me that in 15 years. Andrew. How are you, Addy? Good, you well?
I'm good, very good.
What's the deal with shorts? So you know what the weather's going to be like
it's
today.
always, come on, it's
cold
summer.
out. It's cold out.
Shorts should be worn from May onwards, unless, of course, you're dressing up for an event.
Well, Jason's the guide. And if he doesn't wear shorts, you know it's not warm enough for shorts.
No, I'm all over
and shorts.
Dad, I'm all over the shorts,
Yeah,
flip flops. Come on, show the feet, show the legs. That's what I'm all about.
Yours, have you?
Not today.
No, fine, okay. Right, in the next section, we'll look ahead to this Saturday's massive fight. It's live on talkSPORT. Sees Daniel Dubois take on Oleksandr Usyk. Let's start by looking back at the weekend's action. Katie Taylor beat Amanda Serrano for the third time in their trilogy. She won their bout at New York's Madison Square Garden on a majority decision. To beat the same fighter three times, especially someone as good as Serrano, how impressive, how much of an achievement is that for Taylor?
Well, it shouldn't have been a majority decision. She was absolutely breathtaking on Friday night in the Garden. A wonderful trilogy with Amanda Serrano. The first two fights were wars. They were terrific. And the third fight, Katie went back to her boxing and she outclassed Serrano. She was too quick. Her feet were fantastic. Her judgment of distance, her pace, her rhythm. She rolled back the years. She was like she was 25 again. I thought it was Katie's best performance in a long time. I thought she won convincingly. I don't know how there was a draw on one of the cards.
I agree.
Amanda was too slow and unfortunately just not good enough on the day. I thought she won the second fight, Amanda. So for me, it was 1-1. But Katie was brilliant in the third fight. And, she's got to go down as not just the greatest female, I think, that's ever put the gloves on, but one of the greatest fighters of all time from what she's done. A 10-year-old girl who dressed up as a boy, as Kay Taylor, to even fight. What she did as an amateur, winning Olympic gold, winning 6 World Championships, European titles, and being pretty much undefeated as a professional. Yes, there was that one defeat to Chantel Cameron, narrowly. Delphine Besson maybe beat her in that first fight, but very, very close fights. She's won everything else, and she's just unbelievable. And not just that, Andy, she is the nicest human being. She is humble. She is grateful for her success. She is just loved by the whole of Ireland, and she will be remembered when she does hang them up, and I don't think it'll be quite yet, as one of the greatest fighters that has ever lived.
She's dedicated most part of her career to this trilogy. What next for her now?
That's a good question. She doesn't need to do anything. I'd like to see her fight at Croke Park. I think she deserves a big homecoming to Ireland. She hasn't fought much in Dublin or around there. She's from Bray. But I think a big stadium fight like Croke Park would be the ideal way to go out. So maybe she'd have one more in the States and then one next spring or next summer in Ireland, and I think that will do it. She'll be 40 by then, so that will definitely do her. But she doesn't need to fight again.
How does the money compare in the women's game to the men's? What sort of money will she get per fight?
Well, she is now getting much more. Brian Peters, her manager, has done a fantastic job with her. She turned professional in 2016 with Eddie and Sky, and Brian's worked really hard to get her a lot of money over the years.
What sort of money are we talking?
I mean,
roughly,
we're now into the millions. We're now into the serious millions.
Early millions.
I'm not sure exactly the numbers, but she certainly was getting the £1 million pretty well a long while ago. I mean, Brian, as I said, has fought really hard for her to get serious money, but since Netflix have come in, that money has been huge, and so she's gone and fought on the MVP platform with Jake Paul, and the last 2 fights, on the Tyson Paul card in Texas and then at the Garden on Friday night were huge money, and she deserves every single penny and more.
Where is women's boxing loved more? Is it this side of the pond or in America?
I think here, we've had 2 all-women shows here. I think if you look at the women that have come out of England, so we had Katie Taylor, obviously, from Ireland, but the likes of your Natasha Jonases, your Terry Harpers, your Chantel Camerons, your Lauren Prices, now your Caroline Dubois, Karis Artingsall, who was over there. So many are coming through now. I think Tia May Ayton, who's just turned professional, is going to be one to really look out for. So there's so many great women now fighting. And yes, there's Alicia Baumgardner, there's Michaela Mayer, there are Americans, of course, the great Clarissa Shields, who I saw this weekend as well. But yeah, I think over here probably it's more loved, but I think in America now Jake Paul has got a lot of the women under his wing and has put a all-female card on for the first time in America. We saw Ellie Scotney shine, Savannah Marshall was on, Ramla Ali, Chantel, so it was fantastic for all the females.
A lot of the money, of course, is in YouTube boxing, and by YouTube boxing I mean people like Jake Paul coming over the crossover and fighting ex-fighters. Do you think we'll ever see a YouTube fighter against someone like Katie Taylor, as in a man be a woman?
I don't know. I don't think that will probably happen, but look, there is definitely a place for YouTube boxing. There's a place for misfits. There's now, fantastically, the women are more than equal, better in some ways, the women's fights. Some people prefer women's boxing, the 2-minute rounds. They've just put so many great fights on over the last 10 years that it's brilliant that now we're going to see the women as much as we're going to see the men. It was an all-men's card on Saturday night in the Louis Armstrong Centre with Hamza Shiraz when he won, but on Friday night it was all women, and they were both just brilliant nights. So I think it's wonderful that it's happening, and hats off to Jake Paul, Jake and Nikisa, who've done that for MVP. Ben Shalom did a couple here as well at the O2 and at the Royal Albert Hall, and about time. I mean, I've been a massive advocate of women's boxing. Jane Couch back in the day, we talked about that last week, and Katie Taylor, since she turned professional with Eddie and Sky, there's just been a huge platform now for the women, and it's wonderful to see.
Who are the next up and coming British stars of women's boxing? Who are the ones that we look at?
Lauren Price is probably the best. The Welsh woman who's fantastic. Caroline Dubois, really hard hitting from Shane McGuigan's stable. And as I said, I like this Tia May Ayton, who's just turned professional. She's from Bristol, and she's a really, really hard puncher. So she's definitely one to watch out for. But there's a huge amount coming through. Real inspiration. Fran Hennessy's such a great young woman as well. She's fantastic. I remember when she was 11 or 12, and Mick, her father's a promoter, and his son was boxing, and she just sort of got the bug and said, I'm going to be a fighter.
So I'm guessing, I mean, this was something when we all grew up, right? Going to a boxing club. But friends of mine that go to boxing club. Now we've got young girls going. You mentioned 11. So I'm guessing the ages are 6, 7? They're going to boxing clubs now?
Yeah, and my youngest went to boxing a couple of years ago at sort of 11, 12. My girls have been inspired by Katie Taylor. They're not going to be fighters, but they've been inspired by what she's done. And I think it's fantastic that the women can go and do anything now. It's absolutely brilliant. And, it wasn't the case when Jane Couch was fighting, and she was amazing. And
is that the woman I spoke to you about last time?
Yeah, an incredible character, an incredible fighter, but almost a little bit before her time.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
without
and now it's brilliant that women can live their dreams. And yeah, Fran Hennessy was over there last weekend. It was great to see her, and there's a lot of great young women coming through.
Just quickly, you mentioned Hamza Shiraz, who fought over the weekend.
Yes.
Won with a 5th round stoppage against Edgar Berlanga.
Yes.
How did it? Is our first look at seeing him fight super middleweight, right? How did he look?
Yeah, so Hamza fought a middleweight for the world title in Riyadh a few months ago against Carlos Adames. He was lucky to get a draw. He was poor that night. He'd been undefeated before that, and one of Frank Warren's big stars, and Turki Al-Sheikh had made him an ambassador of Riyadh season as well. A very good talker out of the ring, really good story. And Hamza was moved up to super middleweight, which I think was the right move for him. He changed trainer to Andy Lee, who's the man that is touching gold at the moment in the trainer stakes with Joseph Parker and Ben Whittaker. And he had 8 weeks with Andy Lee, and he went in with Edgar Berlanga, who's a really hard puncher. Only one defeat to Canelo for Berlanga. Real character. Self-confessed the king of New York with all the bling and the jewelry and all that. At the press conference, he was throwing all sorts of things at Oscar De La Hoya, and anyway, he making a lot of noise. And Hamza kept his cool, kept his calm, went in there and did an absolutely phenomenal job on Edgar Berlanga. Frank Warren there said it was one of the great wins by any British fighter on American soil, and it reminded me of the sort of time when Nassim Muhammad went over and conquered Kevin Kelly, and Tyson Fury beating Deontay Wilder. Great performances like that. And Hamza is ready now, and Canelo and Crawford fight in September, and now they're talking about Hamza potentially fighting or going in with Canelo. And he was saying to me afterwards, he would have been happy with the Southern Area title. He can't believe this is happening to him. But he's tall, he's rangy, he hits very, very hard. He's obviously got huge mental strength. He's at the right weight now, and he's a handful, and he's a lovely guy too.
I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's a big fight at Wembley the weekend. You know this Daniel Dubois fight? Yeah, I can't remember.
Something going on.
Why don't we do a bit of research now?
Okay.
Is that happening? Yeah, it's definitely happening.
I need to do a little bit of research.
And we'll chat about
the fight on Saturday. So I better do.
We need to know what we're talking about. So let's have a little break. Right, and do a bit of research, and we'll talk about this. Apparently, it's a big fight. We'll talk about the fight that's live on talkSPORT on Saturday night right after this. Now, we did our research, and apparently that fight is happening the weekend. Daniel Dubois against Oleksandr Usyk. We've got Adam Smith, the voice of boxing. Adam Smith.
Here!
He is here, yeah, thanks for that. Will it be lift off for Dubois? Will it be lift off for Usyk? It's such an exciting fight. You're going to be ringside at Wembley Stadium. Of course, it's such an exciting fight. And I was going to say these fights don't come around too often, but thankfully we see a lot of big fights. Where do you list this amongst the great big fights we've been lucky enough to see over the last 3-4 years? How big a fight is this for both fighters?
It's a huge fight. Wembley Stadium, the summer, the first time in England that the undisputed heavyweight championship is on the line. Of course, we saw it in Riyadh when Usyk beat Fury for the first time last year. Then they had the rematch. I was there when Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield fought for the undisputed heavyweight title in Madison Square Garden back in 1999. There was that controversial draw, and then Lennox won it at the end of the year. So a long, long time ago. These things don't come around very often. Lennox will be there, I think, on Saturday night. The world will. 80,000-90,000 at Wembley Stadium. Oleksandr Usyk is the pound-for-pound king in my eyes. Some say it's Terence Crawford, some say it's Noah Inoue. For me, it's definitively Usyk. He's cleaned up at cruiserweight. He's cleaned up already at heavyweight. This will be the third time he can become undisputed because, of course, Daniel Dubois has the IBF belt, which he defended brilliantly against Anthony Joshua last September. 10 months on, he gets his dream chance to become the undisputed champion. 2 years after the first fight with Usyk, we all remember the controversy over the low blow or not a low blow. Didn't matter. He lost the fight. That's history. He's in great, great form. Not only has he beaten Joshua, he beat Jerome Miller. He beat Filip Hrgovic, who was undefeated. And he's with Don Charles, who's a great trainer. Psychologically, Daniel Dubois is never going to be in a better place. He fancies this. He thinks the timing is right. Usyk's now 38. He believes he can turn Usyk over. He's got much more of a chance than he did 2 years ago. The problem is that, in my eyes, there's no sign of Oleksandr Usyk declining. If anything, he got better and better against Tyson Fury at the back end of their second fight. I was in training camp with him before that. He's extraordinary. He's an incredible athlete. No, he's not been knocked down. He's been the low blow and went down. Well, that was it. In the amateurs, yes, but not in the professional.
You know, I like pushing you for a yes or no.
Yes.
Do you? And there was one. Do you think it was a low blow?
Potentially. Was it? I think it was slightly low, but other people don't. I think that.
Do you think it was a low blow?
Do I think that Usyk used his experience to take his time? Yes. But do I think it was slightly low? Yes. So therefore, what's the problem?
Why
right?
Slightly?
The fight went on.
Why slightly?
Well, because the waistband, sometimes the waistband.
Was it a low blow?
Was it a low blow? Should he have gone down from a low blow? Should he have taken the time? Yes. Did he utilise that time and that experience? Yes.
You're either pregnant or you're not, right?
You're pregnant or you're not. Boxing, you never get a straight answer. We will get a definitive answer on Saturday night to see whether Oleksandr Usyk will remain undefeated and become the undisputed champion the third time, or Daniel Dubois will shock the world, and that's what it will be, a big upset if he wins.
I spoke to so many people that are far more about boxing than I do, and that conversation you basically had there, some think it is, some think it isn't.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's, you can speak to two different people, have two different answers.
Jason,
and that probably tells you a little bit about where it was. It was right on the cusp.
We did a promotional thing for DAZN. There was a whole load of people that came in throughout the boxing world, and everyone was split. There was some thought it was low, some thought it wasn't. My point is, It's gone.
Yes, it happened. You're absolutely right.
It's 2 years ago.
You're absolutely right.
Dubois in a much, much better place.
Yes.
Now he's got a real chance because Usyk is older.
Well, he's a better fighter, Dubois, now than he was back then.
Psychologically, he's a man.
Yeah.
He's 27. He had that huge win over AJ.
Yeah.
He blocked out the crowd, very pro Joshua. He did it emphatically back in September.
It was incredible.
But can he do it to Usyk? Usyk's brilliant in rematches, and he's a one-off.
Is there a rematch clause, do you know?
If Usyk loses,
Yeah.
I'm sure they will do a third one if that happens.
Okay.
Don't know if there's
I was going to ask you if you think, because we've seen sometimes when Joshua fought Klitschko,
Yes.
I sort of felt that Joshua was getting him at the right time.
Yes.
It was the end of the Klitschko reign.
Yes.
I don't feel that with Usyk. I mean, he's
No.
38 years old.
But isn't there a point, right, that a boxer has that one fight and we don't see it coming?
Sometimes.
You know,
Well,
there is
like one fight too many.
Do you know what, we don't know that yet, and Dubois is definitely a better fighter.
I think
than he
Andy's
was.
right, though. With Klitschko and Joshua,
Yeah.
it was a great case of timing, and AJ nearly lost that fight. Joshua was one or two punches away, but ultimately it was the passing of the torch.
Yeah.
This time around, you've got Daniel Dubois, you've got Moses Atalma, the young 20-year-old, who could be, or I think will be the future of the heavyweight division. Is it the time now, with the Usyks and Joshuas and Furies and Wilders sort of falling away? It should be, but Usyk is a freak. Usyk is a one-off.
Yeah, I hear you.
He is, honestly, in training camp, I saw him
No, I hear
swim.
you.
He could be a professional swimmer. He could be a professional ballet dancer. He could be a professional footballer. The guy is a complete, unique soul. 350 amateur fights.
And there's no evidence, is there, at the moment?
No evidence. No sign, no evidence. But Dubois can hit very hard, 21 knockouts in his 22 wins. If he can attack that body, if he can get through, could he just unsettle Usyk? I think he's got to knock Usyk out. I don't think he can win on points.
I think so.
Where I know we're a long way off it, and if there is no rematch, where does the winner go next? You mentioned Moses Atama. He's got Dillian White, right?
Atama's got White.
When is it? I mean, that's going to be an amazing fight.
That's in August in Saudi. That's fantastic because it's a great chance to see whether Atama is ready.
It's a great step up.
It's a great step up.
Really
it's
is.
a great. It's a really interesting fight. Where are we afterwards? If Usyk wins, surely he's got to fight Joseph Parker. Parker's done another videos. I don't know if you've seen them.
No, not this one. I haven't. I've seen all of them, but not this one.
You've got
When
to
did
see
it come out?
Brilliant. It came out today. I've got it. I won't tell you about it.
Okay, a song, right?
He's just brilliant.
Okay, have you seen him, Jay?
He entertained us through COVID. Have you seen Joe Parker's
brilliant.
music videos? They
No,
are
I haven't.
fantastic.
I haven't.
They're absolutely brilliant.
Didn't he do one with The Office? He did Free Love Freeway as well.
Yeah,
David
he's
Brentman.
done
It's
some
amazing.
really cool stuff. But Joseph Parker has definitely got to get the next shot. If Usyk loses, then surely there'll be a rematch. You'd have thought, but I will say that if Dubois wins, it is one of the biggest. It will be one of the biggest upsets and one of the biggest moments in British boxing history, I think.
Wowzers.
Okay.
I think so.
We're going to let you go. I'm just curious, right? Because Tyson Fury is apparently retired, but he's going to come back. We know that.
Yes, we'll see him on Saturday.
Who knew? Who thought?
I know.
5 times retired. He's never retired.
At least.
He's never retired.
Let me ask you this
He's going to fight
question, right?
Joshua, yes.
Let me ask you this question.
That's a yes.
No,
Do
no,
a
no.
yes or
You
no?
don't know what
That's
the
a
question
yes.
You haven't heard the question yet?
Yes.
Can I have all your money?
Yes.
There you go. It's legally binding. We got him. If on Saturday night in I don't know, Cardiff, right, Principality, you had Tyson Fury against AJ, at the same time Dubois was fighting Oleksandr Usyk,
Which fight would I be at?
which is a bigger fight.
In British casual sporting terms, no question.
No. Which
Fury
is a
and
bigger
Joshua.
fight around the world.
What's the biggest fight around the world? Usyk and Dubois, because Usyk is the global heavyweight champion of the world. But AJ and Fury is a bigger fight here.
Okay. I was just thinking about that.
We're going to see it, though, Ed, yeah?
I'd like to see Dubois against
I think
Fury.
we will.
We're going to see it.
I think we'll see it in 2026, Fury Joshua.
Yeah. Didn't Turkey come out and suggest that he'd spoken to Tyson Fury and...
I think Turkey speaks to everyone.
Yeah.
That he wants
Listen,
to.
if I had that money, I'd speak to everyone as well.
He spoke to Dalton Smith on Saturday night and said, "You're fighting next."
He
It was
speaks on
great.
behalf of
It's great.
boxers as well, but
It's
someone
great.
don't even know they're fighting.
And you can't turn him down, right?
No, Dalton was like, Eddie's like, come over and meet Turkey. Dalton came over and goes, and then Turkey apparently said, I know who you are. You're fighting him next in November. Dalton goes, okay.
The power he's got is ridiculous. Isn't it? Ridiculous. Smudge, always a pleasure.
Say hi to Johnny Fisher
I
from
will
me.
do.
Top
Of
boy.
course I will.
Top boy.
Enjoy your, where are we? Tuesday, so you got a few nights off before.
No nights off. Wednesday is the workouts.
Okay.
Thursday will be the press conference. Friday the weigh-in. We're up Wembley Way, and then Box Fest on Saturday as well. All the stars going to be there. It's going to be an amazing day and night. I'm sure I'll see you both up there.
Last question, one word answer. Who wins?
Usyk.
Okay. Good, isn't he? One word.
No,
Got him.
yeah, got that one. Yeah.
See, we break you in the
was a
end.
yes,
Smudge.
But I may be wrong.
Yeah.
Of course.
And of course
I've been
you
wrong
will.
many times.
And we'll.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.